Hello everybody, it's me again, your boy, Chris Blackdoor Harris. Now, I'm about to hit you with something that's crazy, that has been baffling me ever since I heard the words, no such thing as a magic swordsman. But, since you want to believe me on the situation, for most of those who like to play D&D and fantasy games, or watch the animes themselves that explain it, I'm going to explain to you in my way. Oh yes, I'm very big fan when it comes to fantasy games. I like mysteries, puzzles to me, and I figure them out very quickly. Before we start, subscribe, hit that like button, share, and leave a comment below. Tell me what you think about this video. You ready? Let's go. Today's title for this video is Fantasy Weapons of Anime, Games, and live acting TV shows that involves D&D. Oh yeah, I like the sound of that. Do you? You know, there have been many situations nobody can ever believe. First, let's start off with long range weapons. And I mean very long range. It's like you get in there, you can see, you can tell what's going to happen. But trust me, long range weapons that involves Gygax, crossbows, bow and arrows. What else? Spears. Definitely spears, ain't gonna lie. Spears and javelins. They could be powerful in the right hands, but I wonder, can they also be magical? Magical. Who you're fooling, yo? What is magical about weapons? Especially long range ones. I mean, if you get a magic bow, a magic spear, magic dagger, or any other long range weapon, you know what that's saying to me? Dude, you're losing your mind. No. When it comes to weapons, whether they're magical or not, there's something wrong with you. You're not a true fan of fantasy or of fantasy games, of fantasy weapons of any other sort. Yeah, I put it like that. You know, the games, the anime, the live action TV series. Like say, let's start with 1974. D&D. How did it start out? Two men sitting in their bedroom, and the other one called the other one over to their home and came up with the idea of a new board game. I should do air quotes for that, because it's not really a board game. It's mostly like a true game, a challenge. D&D, aka Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, you could have up to 5 or 7 characters in D&D at that time. Yep. Like the knight, who could be named the swordsman or the paladin. The archer, who could be deemed any type of other race, like say elves, dwarfs, or water sprites. Tell the water sprites ain't gonna lie about that. You could have the axe wielder, like say the dwarf, the mercenaries, the guard. I mean, no, the soldier. You could have a armor knight, great knight, or knight itself, who wields the spear or lance. You know? You could have the sorcerer who's an elf, a water sprite, or just a plain human who could wear white magic or black magic. Who else I'm forgetting? What other weapon am I forgetting here? Oh, a gauntlet user. You know, gauntlet user who use claws like for weapons. I mean, you could have a soldier, a high-ranking soldier, a mercenary, or an assassin. Okay, then there's one of those who could wield the hammers. Same thing like an axe, but the hammers, they have their own speciality of a class. Excuse me for a moment. And I'm not gonna lie about this. It's like you can tell what's gonna happen, but it's not gonna happen. Then last but not least, you got those warriors who wields those thin swords. And you know what thin swords I'm talking about, right? Those reapers. Those fencing swords, you know. And last but not least, who could use a sword that could turn into a whip. But for every fantasy weapon you could ever think of, there's always a high class weapon. For swords, you got them swords of light, swords of darkness, magical swords, magical bows, magical axes, magical lances, magical reapers, magical gauntlets, magical hammers, magical staffs. Well, actually, they could also become a weapon as well, based on how you use it right. And trust me, when it comes to using it right, step back now. You're not just using it right; it's how you do it right. You know what I'm saying? Trust me. In D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, you can never tell you can never tell how certain D&D weapons could work in your favor. Like say, I'm more I'm more of a swordsman type of fantasy's weapon user. Yeah. Fantasy weapon user. That's what I call myself. Because when it comes to swords, I know my swords. Okay? The Dragon Slayer sword where it slays nothing but dragons. The sword of light where it could cut through darkness, and that thing, you know, all of a sudden you're ready to slay down evil where it stands in front of you. And that's called a holy sword. A holy sword. You call it a light sword, but no, it's a holy sword. When it comes to bow and arrows, when it comes to being an archer, you gotta make sure you hit your mark. A element bow is like perfect ones you can use. Like you say, you pick up a stick, you're using an earth sword, and all of a sudden, it 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 hits people like it was hit by a ton of bricks, a ton of rocks. You hit them with another tree branch, it turns into a vine. Well, I know it sounds so familiar. Oh yeah, Green Arrow. When it comes to certain archer-like weapons, you don't know what's gonna happen. An axe. An axe could be named many things, but it's also named a earth-shattering weapon. Earth-shattering axe. A thunder axe. A axe that cut through water like it's cutting through paper. Or should I say, a powerful axe that could just create wind and blow people away. I mean, what this got me? Well, I'm talking about this because of Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest, Zelda, Fire Emblem, D&D. These four games got me thinking. What were they doing with these weapons where they had wielders holding them? These wielders didn't know how to do it. God darn thing. It makes me mad to know that when it comes to D&D, Zelda, Dragon Quest, or Fire Emblem, oh, they did not choose the right weapons. Folks, I'm sorry, I'm up and watching TV. Again. I've seen this one a long time, bro. What is this? Murder, she wrote. Murder, she wrote. Wow. But yet, people, let me tell you something. The staffs for sorcerers, wizards, and witches, it seems like you can never tell how they can use a staff in the right proper way. Rather than black magic, we cure someone with light magic, we cure all that is evil. Or so people say. Or you use the elements as your own potential way of life. Like I say, you create yourself your own castle. You could heat up some meat with fire. You could purify the water that's dirty and black with water element magic. You could strike someone down with nothing but lightning and make sure they stun to time those who are after that evil, that darkness is. And you collect that good money. Wind magic where you can fly like Superman up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. Is that a wizard? No, that's a sorceress. Oh, never mind. A hammer, though. When it comes to hammers, you don't know how to use a hammer, especially one that's forged like hammers that could crush anything, rocks, armors. Bring down castles of many ways of life. I mean, D&D know how they was doing everything at that time. I'm gonna have to look up the creators of D&D, the original creators of D&D, 1974 version. I couldn't find their names, but when I do, thank you, sirs, because with you, you made us step out of our comfort zone and just go into the world of anime, fantasy, or gaming fantasy, or live action TV show fantasy series types of ways that we can know how weapons was used before we had guns. And reapers are like swords, but no, they're different. They're fast. They move like the wind. They're swift. Especially swords, reapers that at that time I bet you could turn into whips. Down boy. Down boy. Down Simba. Down Simba. Down Simba. You know what I'm saying? You're not looking at me, so I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you for a reason. The reason is, how long does it take for you to have the ultimate battle with the weapon that you're comfortable with? Swords, magical ones. You can call me a magic swimmer all you want. If I can use all the elements with one sword, that'd be this true, holy, legendary sword right there. Fire, water, earth, wind, lightning, light, darkness. Who else can I say? There's more elements I know. There's more elements I know. And let me tell you something. When it comes to these types of weapons, y'all know what y'all doing. Because if it wasn't for these weapons, we wouldn't have Zelda. We won't have Fire Emblem. We won't have Dragon Quest. We won't have them Game of Thrones. No, baby. No, baby. Baby, no, oh, baby. Hey, baby. We won't have those types of things existed if it wasn't for these types of weapons in the medieval times. Fantasy medieval times. Because trust me, we look at them, you say, hey, that's my weapon. Which one? That sword, sir. That sword, sir. That sword right there, sir. 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 That sword is mine. Ting. What do you call that sword there, boyo? This sword right here, sir? Yes. No. Hold on. Emilia, can you get out here? I didn't want to ask this boy something right here. Yes, sir. What do you call this sword right here, laddie? I don't want to give it a name. I'm going to call it the Holy Bucklet Sword. Holy elements of every magic I can use and find. True magic swords that I could be. It was forged by a great man, and I like it. I'm your boy Chris Blackthorn Harris. When it comes to anime, when it comes to fantasy weapons of many kinds, of many generations, of many times, I'm just getting started. Once again, I'm your boy Chris Blackthorn Harris. And with a good sword, I now cut down the most evil of all evils.